Talk Real Estate with Sharon McNamara, sponsored by Boston Connect Real Estate Services.
Hi, I'm Sharon McNamara, and you are listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. Let me share a little bit about my background before we get started. I am the broker-owner of Boston Connect Real Estate, a boutique real estate firm that is home to over 30 real estate sales and marketing consultants who service home buyers and home sellers throughout Boston, the South Shore, the South Coast, and Cape Cod. Our firm takes pride in assisting our clients in the next chapter of their lives by taking a holistic approach to their real estate endeavors. We believe that every move should be a moving experience. Every week, my real estate team member, Mary Baker, and I, along with the director of Boston Connect Real Estate, Melissa Wallace, provide you with our unique marketing approach to selling homes and share with you our expertise in navigating the home buying process. We like to mix it up sometimes, so not only will you hear our perspective on real estate topics, but you will hear the expert thoughts and opinions of some of our real estate agents at Boston Connect Real Estate and the preferred professionals that we trust. Be part of our roundtable. If you have any questions during the show, please call 781-837-4900. We'd love to talk real estate. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and wherever you listen to podcasts at Talk Real Estate Roundtable. If you would like a one-on-one consultation with me and my team or one of the dedicated agents at Boston Connect Real Estate to discuss your real estate needs, you can connect with us at bostonconnect.com or 781-826-8000. Now, sit back, relax, take good notes, and let's talk real estate. And good morning to all my South Shore neighbors. This is Sharon McNamara. You are, of course, listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable here on WATD. And we are live in our home studio here with a frog in my throat, apparently, right here in our home office at Boston Connect Real Estate, who is the sponsor of this show, as well as the Sharon and Mary real estate team. And this morning we have in studio Tim. Good morning, Tim.
Good morning. Good morning, Sharon.
It was so nice to be in person with you last week.
I know, in the flesh. Yeah, that was great.
Flesh. Yeah, it was fun. It was good. I was there for 3 long hours, but it was good. And also in studio with me is the one and only Melissa Wallace. Woo!
Hello. Do you think I am the one and only? There might be another one in the world.
I'm sure there's at least another Melissa Wallace, but not one. There's only one paired with Sharon McNamara.
Yeah, that's true.
The only one that matters to me is the one that's right here in studio with me. And Melissa is the director of operations here at Boston Connect Real Estate, and she is also operations of client services and agent services. So she takes care of all of our agents here at Boston Connect Real Estate, and she does a great job. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so today we're going to we've talked about this in the past. We are talking about right sizing. So it's the right size for you right now. Yep. So I don't like to call it downsizing. It is not a downer. It's just that next chapter in your life.
I know all of these papers that you handed me, I just keep seeing downsize. I'm like, oh gosh, please stop.
Yeah,
please stop.
I know. No. It's not negative. Yeah. But it can be for some people. And I know that the emotions that sometimes our seniors are facing, or maybe you're not even a senior, it's just the overwhelm of, I've been in this house for 30 years. How am I going to ever maneuver this whole process? And that's what we're going to be talking about today. If you have any questions for us regarding this topic, if you have any insights regarding this topic, if you've been through this situation, or if you're just about to start this situation and you don't know where to begin, we'd love to chit-chat with you rather than just sticking on our agenda, which we generally don't do anyways.
No, because I was laying in bed this morning and I was like, thinking about our Tuesday night show. So we had the Pembroke Chamber of Commerce, sort of open house meet and greet here at the office. So a lot of fun. And I said to you on the show, you sell real estate. Remember that. You're the broker owner. I feel like we don't really say that a lot, that you're the broker owner of Boston Connect Real Estate. So this morning I was like, I think I want to ask her, from a broker's perspective, what do you, and somebody who's been in the industry for over 20 years, what is it, what do you, what's going on?
You want to interview me?
Kind of.
All right. Well, great. We can switch topics. If you want. Let's just interview me.
No, we'll just start off with this because I feel like we get these questions all the time.
Yeah.
And like, oh, what's going on in the market? What are you seeing? What's this? But I want to know from a broker's perspective, not just as a single agent or you're on a team, but like from a broker's perspective, somebody who's been in the industry for 20 years. What is it that you're seeing?
So it's interesting because I have been an agent for over 20 years. I've been a broker for over 12 years. I've been a broker owner of Boston Connect Real Estate since 2010. I've also been doing a show or co-hosting with Michael McNamara, who has the show right before this one, McNamara on Money. So I've been a co-host with him, I would say close to 20 years.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I don't know if there are still some people who think it, or if there are, I know in the past it was something that I think people thought that I worked for WATD. Now, I'm not saying I do a good job as they do, but, I can't tell you what the weather is or give you a good traffic report.
Yeah. The turkeys were crossing at Lindy's. I was a minute late.
Exactly.
That's all I got.
So, that is not, but people, I think, had the impression because they heard me so much on this show.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we bring on guests, so it seems like I'm just interviewing people. But yes, this is what I do. This is my full-time plus job. In fact, Thursday was like quite the day. I started at 4:30 in the morning and didn't finish until 9 because I had some commitments for some of the committees I'm on, because I'm enjoying doing some of that stuff again. But what is going on in the market right now? It's interesting because I feel there's a little bit of this the sky is falling type mentality that I'm seeing with real estate agents. And I'm not talking about like just agents in our office. I'm just talking, for the most part, we're sort of seeing that. And since I have been, I think that's where my expertise sort of comes in play, is that I have been in very similar I've been in worse markets. So for me, I like to say I stay one pulse short of being flatlined. I don't get very excited when it's fast and furious. I don't get very upset when it's slower.
And what do you mean by worse?
Worse. Oh, so like in 8, 9, 10, when we opened Boston Connect Real Estate, there was very, very low inventory. The inventory that we were starting to see was all foreclosures. I mean, we had just gone through that whole banking situation where in 2004, 5, 6, people were getting loans that should not have been getting loans. They couldn't afford them. They were no doc loans, there no money down. And that was different than what we have right now, too, is then it was the bank's money. So people were getting loans, no money down. They didn't have their skin in the game. So when people were losing their job, we were in a recession and unemployment was through the roof, and people couldn't afford their mortgage. They were walking away from their house.
They just walked away.
They just put the keys on the counter and said, thank you, Bank of America, thanks for, letting me live here for a little bit. And they just moved on. That's when the banks started, putting more regulations on things on how people got loans. Right now, I mean, we're seeing actually a little bit of some of these foreclosures, actually a couple coming on, but I am not 100% convinced that that's where we're going. I don't think that, because the past couple of years, and prices haven't gone down. I mean, they may have come down a little bit, but we see that anyway, seasonally. People who were buying and paying over asking, $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 we were hearing, those people were putting their hard cash into that. So it's their equity. So right now, they have a lot of equity in their house because of their own cash that they put into it. So if they lose their jobs, and we are hearing about a lot of layoffs in some of the really big firms in the city, if they're starting to do layoffs and they lose their jobs and they can't afford their mortgage, I don't know, will they do like a cash out refi? But I doubt it, because they all locked in. They're in that lock-in situation.
I think, like, for me as a buyer, like, I need to be like reassured, like, and we don't have a crystal ball. We don't know what's going to happen, although trends, with you being in the industry for over 20 years, you understand the trends, whether other people understand it or not. But as a buyer, like, for me, when you say, we're seeing a lot of foreclosures and stuff like that, there was a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, where 4 houses came on the market, and I think I said this on the show, that I didn't even go and see them because one didn't have walls, one didn't have siding, one was bank owned. Well, it was all things that I was like, okay, is this what we're moving towards?
And you know what I think I'm seeing there, though, is I think that those properties have been around for a while. They just haven't been on the market. I think that those are basically sort of what we're talking about today, maybe an estate situation. And I think that people are hearing that the market is going a different way based on the interest rates going up again. So I think that those people are, whoever owns them, are saying, I better take advantage of this market right now because they feel it will be worse in a few months. That's what I think you're seeing. And I know, as you were talking, I don't know why this analogy came into my head about how the market works, because I don't surf, but
you paddleboard.
Yes, I do paddleboard, but not on waves. But that's how my ADD head goes. But anyways, as you were talking, all I could picture was a surfer who's like riding a big wave, right? And they're, with experience, they're getting better. With more experience, they're getting even more better. So they're going out to bigger waves. They're going out and, really able to navigate those waves. But you know what? Every so often, a wave is going to get you and you're going to fall down. You just have to make sure that you still know how to swim, right? So you have to swim, you have to get back to that surfboard, and then you just get on. So that's like my sort of talk to like any real estate agents. And we do know a lot of real estate agents do listen to our show, and we've met quite a few recently. We were at Mark Stiles' office recently, and there was an agent there that said that he listens to us all the time. But that's how I feel about it. Yes. Sometimes you fall off of that wave, but at least you know how to swim still, right? Don't worry, Melissa. We will find you a house.
Yeah. I know it will happen. It's just, it is frustrating to sort of see, you've worked so hard to get to a place, and then you're there and you're like ready and willing and able, and then you see all those houses that people talk about, like that were 10 years ago, and you're like, what are we going back to this? Is this the worst time? Like, what am I doing?
Yeah. And I know that time is relative, because I tell you, I think one of the things that I'll give myself a little kudos, what makes me sort of a good agent is that I can sort of, I have empathy towards people in every single price range right now. And for first-time home buyers, you're actually competing with our seniors and boomers who also want to right size down, right? You want to have your first one, they want to have a smaller one. So there's a lot of competition in that demographic. But honestly, if you think about it, 30 years ago, Mark and I got married. 30 years ago, we bought our house for $137,000. And I remember that anxiety of, oh my God, how am I going to be able to afford this every month? And so it is relative to time, but like now I think about maybe there's another, we keep on talking about that lock-in effect where 70% of people who have a mortgage right now in the United States are under 4%, right? They don't want to leave because they're not going to get that rate right now. And they can't even do a lateral move. Right?
Yeah.
You even noticed personally when you went from, what the rates were when you initially started, you were looking at much higher price range than you are now by almost $100,000, right?
Yeah. It's a difference of $100,000.
Yeah. With the same mortgage payment, right?
Yeah. Same payment, just different rate.
Yeah. So I think that, there's probably a bunch of people that are maybe my age as well, where I'm saying, all right, I've been in my house for 30 years, and we've refinanced a couple times, but I think I only have a couple of years left on my mortgage. Why would I go?
Yeah.
If I go anywhere, it's going to be to wherever that retirement place in the sunset is for me. And that doesn't look like it's for a bit, right? Can I retire yet, Mel? Mel will tell me when I can retire.
Well, we gotta get a couple things into place before you retire.
Yes, absolutely. So anyways, that's my spiel. And The sky is not falling. Yes, I am a real estate agent. Yes, I do go to people's homes. There are a lot of people who do listen to WATD that call me. So thank you for doing that. I appreciate it.
I know. I love when people call and they're like, "Hi, I listened to you on the radio, and I was hoping that..." It's a lot of the times it's like they want to either find, like they can't remember where to find our show, or they are looking for one of the guests that we have on.
Yep.
So they're like, "Oh," and that made me feel good too, because I'm like, okay, we're giving value. Like they're like actually listening. Like they might have, you know, when we had mold specialist on or whatever. You know,
it's interesting because my mother, I was coming in the other day, and my mother was across the street at Stop and Shop, and she's like, "Sharon," she was like waving to me and everything. She was talking to a woman, and she's like, "Oh, is that Sharon McNamara?" And she's like, "Yeah." She's like,
we have a phone call.
Do we?
Yes, we do. That's what the ring means.
Tim, she was looking all around like, is that my watch? Yes. Is that my cell phone? Is that the Facebook? What is this?
I don't know where my phone is.
Hello? Who is
Hello?
this? Anyway, we have Dick in Plymouth wants to talk to you.
Hi, Dick. How are you? But that was so realistic.
I am just Ducky.
Perfect.
About a year ago, I heard you guys talking about downsizing, and I wanted to call in, but didn't have enough time. So here I am, burning some stuff here outside, and I'm listening to the radio, and you guys want hear somebody that about downsize.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, we are in. You picture a 2-bedroom ranch house with a breezeway and a 1-car garage.
That's what you're in right now?
This is what we in now.
Okay.
I have a walkout cellar, so there's windows down in the cellar. I bought it 56 years ago.
How much?
We are still in the house. We have an acre of land. We have 250 foot frontage on a lake.
Nice.
For $20,000.
$20,000. God love you.
I have no neighbors. I'm in the woods. I live on a dirt road. We love the house. We raised 5 kids. Well, the garage was converted to a bedroom, so it made it 3 bedrooms. The breezeway was converted to part of the kitchen, which is all glassed in. Every room in the house has windows on both sides of it, except the 2 end rooms. They have windows on 3 sides. And the house is about 75 feet long, 24 feet wide, and we raised 5 children in here. I didn't want the children to be too comfortable because I wanted them to move out. I put 2 girls in 1 bedroom, which was 12 by 24. I put 3 boys in another bedroom, which was 12 by 24. And my wife and I lived in a cellar, which was a walkout cellar. We had a heater fireplace. We had windows. I had the house all remodeled. And our bedroom down there with the fireplace and everything was 24 by 16.
Wow.
And we're right on the lake, and the kids grew up fine. They all moved out. I charged them room and board, and if they came back, the room and board doubled. And I have 5 wonderful kids. They respect everything, and we're still in the house because I thought about putting a 2nd floor on and upsizing to the kids, but I knew the kids are going to go out, and I have $1 million piece of property here, if not more. I don't want to move. I'm going to die here. I'm 84 now. We've been married for 59 years. My wife
Congratulations. Love that.
Wife is 79. And we're active. We go to the gym every day, and people don't have to downsize. You don't have to keep up with everybody else.
You know, you just gave me goosebumps. So I'm so glad that you did call in because, to me, when everybody thinks about the American dream, Dick, I think of what you just put an image in my head. That's the story that I picture of how, like when everyone said, you want that American dream, you want that house, you want to raise your family, and simplifying, like you literally simplified. Like in my husband, his parents are now deceased now for the last, maybe been the last 6-7 years. And there were 6 children, 5 boys upstairs in 1 room and the only girl downstairs, and they made it work. And I think that that's sort of one of what I see different today is everybody has to have the best of this, the best of that. And you probably felt like you did have the best of everything, and you still do feel that way. But that's where I think the changes are right now. It would not make any... If you had ever called me out to your home and said, hey, we're thinking about right-sizing or downsizing, I would say you're probably better off staying exactly where you are. And that's a lot of times what the advice I am giving people who call me.
Oh, I see these condos. A friend of mine just bought $1 million condo, and he only lived in it 6 months. He passed away. It's not a house. It's like sitting in the lobby of a hotel. Mm-hmm. I have charm here. Yeah, I can sit on the commode and look out the window. I see the pond. I'm sitting right now on a picnic table underneath a carport. I call it the shade port, looking over the lake. I can see my house. My grass is green. My flag's flying. I can come up from swimming. I can hang my bathing suit on the line. I walk in the house. Nobody sees me.
Yep.
It's just when we raised 5 kids, the wife would get down the pond in the summer, because we both grew up on ponds. We both lived in Carver, and we grew up on ponds. And years ago, when we wanted to buy a house on a pond, in them days, in the 60s, Plymouth had no houses on ponds that were winterized. They were all little cottages, because everybody lived in town and they had a cottage on a pond for the summer. Well, we found one house, and we latched onto it, and I ended up buying another half acre next to me, a pine grove, so now we have 1 3/4 acres of land.
Nice.
But my wife used to get on the pond with the 5 kids, pack a lunch, spend all day down there, and everything, and then just come back up and have the supper ready when I come home from work. And
that's
the kids
awesome.
grew up on the pond. We just love it.
Do your kids come back and visit now with their kids?
Oh yes, grandchildren. So we have three boys and 2 girls. One boy is in Arizona. The other 4 are here,
Nice.
right in Plymouth.
That's great. And your wife, it seems like your wife is still loving it there too.
Oh, she wouldn't give away, sell this place for anything. She does handstands down the pond every day. We go to the gym 7 days a week, and we swim, and she still does handstands in the pool.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Dick, I think that, I really appreciate your story, and I love hearing this, because it sounds like, when you found that American dream, and you're doing everything to enjoy your life right now, right? You raised the kids, and what did you do for work when you were, before you were retired?
I was an operating engineer, which is, I worked for the International Union of Operating Engineers, which is crane operators, bulldozers, heavy construction, heavy equipment. And I have on my card retired operating engineer, and I have on the other half of the card, I have my wife, retired domestic engineer.
Oh, that's so sweet. That is so sweet.
We go to Florida for 3 months in the winter. We come home, and I've been with Mike McNamara. I'm probably his oldest client that I've been with him, because I was with him before he had his own business.
Yep, when he was in Cohasset for a while too, right? When he was there.
Yeah, well, he was worked someplace down in Plymouth.
Oh, okay.
I think it was Gage Wiley.
Yep. Awesome. Yeah. So, you know what? It seems like you're doing everything right. And I love the plug for my brother-in-law. He's the oldest. My husband is the youngest in the family of 6. So, well, I really appreciate you calling in this morning and giving that other perspective too, because you know what? If you're comfortable where you are, don't feel the pressure to go. And that's exactly what I was saying. I mean, you're 57 years married. I'm 30. So I have a few more 59 years. So hopefully your kids are planning something special for that 60th. But I do think that there is another demographic that we keep on forgetting, because we're talking about low inventory as well as one of the reasons why it's hard. It's, people like you and me, we just proved our point. Like, why would we leave? We have everything that we need. And I did the same thing, Dick, actually. I have a small 3-bedroom Cape. And we put an addition on at one point and kept it 3 bedrooms, but gave us a master, bedroom with bathroom and, finished the basement for the girls. And now they're gone. So I have no reason to sell. It's just all our space.
Yeah, in the girls' bedroom, which is, like I said, it's 12 by 24. My wife likes to quilt and sew, so she made over 100 quilts. So she has a huge table in it. She could spread a quilt right on and work. Nice. And that's a sewing room. And then we have the downstairs where we used to sleep. Now we have 2 twin beds down here. That's our guest room. And then we have king-size bed. We're upstairs in a 12 by 24 bedroom overlooking the lake.
and it sounds like such a perfect little place.
Yeah.
I seriously don't want to be thinking about you sitting on the commode, though, spitting into the pond.
Well, that's something that everybody does every day.
Everybody has to do it, that's for sure. So, well, Dick, thank you so much for calling. I loved hearing your story, and hello to your wife for us as well. And we have to shoot off right now because we have a break at 10:30, but thank you for calling.
Yeah, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. And that was Dick, and he was telling us about his it sounds like a love story, doesn't it?
I know.
Yeah.
Not just a love story between him and his bride, but between him and his home.
Yeah, and
his family.
That's what the American dream is in my eyes. He just painted that perfect picture. When we come back, we're going to continue talking about our topic, which is right sizing. That's the right size for you right now. It's not a downer. We're going to help you get through the emotions of that whole entire process when we come back.
Let's talk real estate with Sharon McNamara, broker and owner of Boston Connect Real Estate.
People often wonder if wintertime is a good time to buy a home. What do you think, Mary?
Sharon, here's what we found with our past buyer clients. While it's true there is less inventory on the market in the winter months, that also means that there's less competition for our buyers. And sellers tend to be highly motivated. That gives our buyers more negotiating power.
In our team's experience, it really isn't about the seasons at all. Sellers and buyers are always looking for each other, and it's our job to connect them. And that's what we do.
It's easy to connect with Sharon and Mary at bostonconnect.com or call 781-294-4848. That's 781-294-4848. We now return to Talk Real Estate, sponsored by Boston Connect Real Estate Services on 95.9 WATD.
And we are back. You are listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. My name is Melissa Wallace, and I am in studio with my sidekick, Sharon McNamara.
And I'm just dancing away.
Yeah.
Hey, that telephone, it sounded so real. I was like, is it my watch? Is it my phone?
In radio, we have all these wonderful sound effects.
I saw her looking around like, what? I go, no, we have a caller.
That's when you know you've got a good sound to play. And you think,
And I love that you do those things for us, too.
well,
Tim,
thank
you're
you.
literally my favorite.
I know.
Oh, thank you.
So great caller. Yeah. And as Dick was talking, I was thinking in my head, like, right sizing isn't just, moving and selling your house and finding a different, like, size for your lifestyle. It also is changing the home, like, to accommodate your lifestyle needs at the same time. And we've done shows about this before.
I was going to say we could do a whole show on that because I think it's a great topic. And I literally still have goosebumps. Like, I don't know, maybe, like, do I know him from another world or something?
I feel like he told the story so well that I can, like, see it. Like, I can see his American flag flying. I can see him going down to the pond.
I can see his wife with the little picnic basket going down and spending the day with the... And you know what? Like, I kept on saying, like, that's what I think people imagine what that American dream is. And it has certainly turned into something else. And, hey, my job is to help people buy and sell houses at the end of the day. But I really feel like it's educating people on what is best for them. And I love what he did. He just rearranged things and made it work for what he needs right now. So, great story.
Yeah. Plus, like, you've convinced people not to sell.
I do. I convince.
Sometimes you come back to the office and you're like, yeah, they're not going to sell. And I told them that. I go, oh, good grief, Sharon.
I know. And that's the thing is I feel that, a lot of agents right now, I'm not even going to blame agents, but I do think that, people think that our job is, okay, you want to sell your house, let me just go in, let me take, give you an idea of what it's worth and all that. But for me, I like to go in and just educate people on what they have, what they could do with it, and like other options, Yeah. So that's what I try to do. And that's one of the discussions that we have when people come to me and ask me about downsizing, right sizing, is, determining their needs and, discuss with them what their goals are, their preferences are, what their future plans are. What about their property doesn't meet their requirements right now? What are they looking for? Because honestly, the cost to move it can be a lot, but if that's what you want to do or need to do, then we make it work. And we try to do it in the least expensive way to help you through that process. So, again, the phone number here is 781-837-4900, 781-837-4900. We have Tim in studio in Marshfield, and he will bring your call right over to us, just like Dick, who just called in from Plymouth. Here in our home, we're in our home office.
Speaking of Dick, he just called me back just for fun. He wanted to tell you his mortgage rate he had for 20 years.
Oh,
you ready for this?
What is it?
Per month?
Yeah.
$131.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
My gosh.
A dream rate. Wow. That's yeah.
Well, he paid $20,000 for his home. You cannot buy a vehicle for $20,000 right now.
Well, you can, but you may not want to.
Not a brand new one.
No.
Right.
Nope.
Yeah, you may not want to.
Yeah.
So, wow, that's great. Yeah. It's amazing. And you know what? If he's been in the, he probably watches real estate a lot too, and, watches the rates and everything. I wonder what his rate was. That's what his mortgage was. I wonder what his rate was. So some of the things that we can help with, the emotional part of it, you want to talk about that? I can't believe we only have 20 minutes left, but if we do have any callers, we're happy to take those too. So
talk about emotions.
The emotions. The emotions.
I am the right person to talk about being emotional.
We're talking about our seniors right now, too. So, if somebody just deceased or something, you and I just went to a class that Amy Masfer had from Sherman Law. It was wonderful. It was about divorces and estate sales. And she had 2 other attorneys with her and a loan officer. And we're going to try to put together a 3-hour show with Alyssa McNamara. So it was fabulous, but we learned a lot.
Yeah, we did. And I won't say like super technical things because I don't want to get it wrong, because I want everybody to get it right. But when we do have Amy and the other women on, we'll just promote the crap out of it, because I really feel like this is super important to know. And it was I was sitting there, granted, I don't have a home yet. Like I own my cat type of thing. But like I was thinking, okay, as soon as I get a house, I got to do this. Whether it's a will, it's a trust, it's, I have to, because as a single woman with no children, who like everything, if I pass away, it goes to my mother. So, and they did the whole like tree. So like, okay, it's your parents, and then siblings, and then if they have kids, and then so I was thinking in my head, okay, if I was to, unfortunately pass right after passing papers and purchasing a home, would I have all those things in sort of place. In writing?
Yeah.
In writing. And also there are, people who had been in their home for a very long time. They have children, or they're married, or they're not, or whatever, and they don't have a will. They don't, nothing's in a trust, nothing. And we had, a little meeting here, I don't know, maybe last year, I think. And we were like, you have to get a will. We're telling everybody, get a will, get a will, get a will. Yeah, we have to get a will.
Yeah. So Ben Cody from Stiles Law came in and gave a little class to all of us. And I've had a will. And then it's funny because, now Casey's married and the girls are older and they're through college.
Yeah.
So I can sort of finalize
They need
things.
to be updated.
They have to be updated all the time. One of the interesting things, and one of the things that they brought up that I found interesting was, making sure you have a will. So you want to leave a legacy and not a burden. And sometimes when people do pass and they don't have all their papers in order, my guess is Dick has it all in order.
Yeah.
Okay. And he knows exactly what's going to who and out of the 5 kids. But if you don't have that in order, then it goes to probate and it just holds everything up. So we're going to do, I want to do some workshops and everything in the office too, for people in that whole, like we'll do a series of that whole estate planning and have attorneys here with us and everything. Because, I've heard situations where people go online and they Google this and they Google that. And I had a situation, I didn't have a situation, but they told about a situation of, I think it was like 2 sisters and a brother, and maybe there was another sibling or something, but they put the mother's house in the 2 daughters' names, and they thought that was going to protect them, and then they made the son the executor of the will. So then when mom passes, because it was just with mom, so when mom passed, they thought, okay, this is what the will is, And in the will, it stated that all of the estate items and everything in the mother's name would be split and divided by 3 or 4. I can't remember exact details. And, well, lo and behold, guess what? They took the house out of the mother's name at one point.
Yeah.
So now it's in the 2 sisters' names. One of the sisters is...
So it's not part of the will?
So it's not part of the will, because now it's in the other 2's names, in the 2 daughters' names. And one of the daughters like, sorry, brother, like, haven't seen you. You haven't helped with mom during her, like, Alzheimer's and dementia and everything else while you've been, like, living the life down in Florida. So... Yeah. There you go.
Wow.
So I think it's really important to make sure that you have everything aligned the right way. So will you help me do that? Will you do a series with me? We talk about these things all the time. And then I know Mary's super busy. Our wedding's coming up in like 2 months.
I know. And I'm in it. I'm just a bridesmaid, though, so I don't have as much pressure. I don't have as much pressure as she does. But
I'm just a guest. So.
Oh, stop it! Stop it.
Okay, so back to our topic. So we, I think the emotions that go along with this, and again, I'm talking about too. Like it is like if you think about Dick, and I wish I knew what his wife's name is, but we'll call her. What do you think, Dick and Jane? We'll call her Jane. Like, Jane, I'm wondering, like, did Dick take, because she was the domestic engineer, right? Did she take care of all the bills and all of that? Or is that something that Dick took care of and still takes care of? Because remember we did financially secure women? Yeah. There were women in there that lost their spouse and they didn't know how to write a check. They didn't know what the passwords were to anything.
Yeah, I know. And that was, I think, I went to the first one. The first one I went to was probably in the beginning when I first started with you, so 7 years ago. And I just remember being like, oh my gosh, like, I felt very much like, okay, I'm starting to be an adult. And then as the years have gone by, somebody recently just had a conversation with me. I've been having a little bit of car trouble, and I'm always very vocal about, like, I don't really understand. Like, I don't know anything about cars. I've never had anybody in my life that have been very into cars or to teach me about cars. But ever since knowing Mark for the past 7 years, he's been very helpful. And, like, now I have, like, little tips and tricks, and I try to teach people, because I'll be honest, like, when I call, and I was talking to the guy, I dropped my car off, and I said, I'll be honest with you, I don't know the technical terms, but I know what's happening. And he's like, okay, and I was able to sort of go through that. But I have to, constantly, like, think in my head, okay, again, single woman who is, trying to navigate through life, and I'm just being transparent. Like, I'll be honest when I don't know something, but I'm willing to learn, and I want to learn, because I want to have that knowledge, like, because I never want to have to rely on somebody, because it scared me. Like, that meeting sort of scared me, where, like, I don't want to have to depend on somebody forever, and then what if they, unfortunately pass away, or they go, are no longer in my life, and then I don't know anything.
Well, and that's the thing too. Do you think that I'm going to go somewhere?
No, I'm just saying, like, it happens a lot with partners. So, no, I don't have a husband, but if, in that meeting, there were a lot of women who had gone through a divorce, or, were a widow and just didn't know how to do certain things, or just didn't know.
I loved the responses of one of the speakers. I won't say which one it was, but her response was, I told my ex-husband I would have made a much better widow than I do a divorcee.
I think I know who that one is. Yeah. But even in my position, so, like, I am in sort of charge of the financials here at Boston Connect Real Estate. So when I get escrow deposits in the form of a check, if the check isn't written out right, I usually know that the person doesn't know how to write a check. Yeah. So, and I'm just sort of blown away. It's like, I've known how to write a check since I was like 10 years old.
I talked to Alyssa about that last week when I was on her show, because she did that, the event that she does every year at Marshfield, and how the kids don't know how to.
Yeah. I remember my Nana teaching me how to write a check, because she used to still write out checks, and then she would have the register thing, and she would write every time she used her debit card, all that stuff. she used to do that. But so I know how to do it. And then now it's all electronic because we use QuickBooks and everything.
But I think that might be the next step too. Like with financially secure women, when we met at people who didn't know how to do the checks and they didn't know how to do the billing, is maybe teaching them how to do it electronically.
Well, and this memory popped into my head when we were moving our offices. So when we were in our old office, right when we bought this office, I was packing up my office and I had a Ziploc bag and I had a calculator, I had a pen, and I don't know, like my stapler in one bag. And I was like, Sharon, look, this is my office all in a bag. And you were like, you could run this company with what's in that bag.
Yeah, why are we buying a building? Because all you need is that baggie.
But you know what? But it's true. It's like I love to sort of do it all out in my head and then have the computer check me.
I'm very proud of you though for taking on Deposit Link. I know that
Yeah, and I've already done it.
Perfect.
I already have one.
So some of the other emotions, I want to talk about like the emotional part of moving for seniors, especially, and what you might be feeling. That is normal, and I want people to know that. And that's why I think it's really important to align yourself with, a real estate agent who is very much focused on this and has empathy towards this and can help walk you through this. And this is one of the things, too, is I feel that people don't search out what they don't know, Mel, like you were saying, like, I don't know. So you're able to ask the questions. And I think right now we might have, maybe some of our seniors, like, they just don't know where to go to ask the question.
I went to a meeting a couple months ago with Susan Solis. She's on the Council on Aging, I think, for Norwell. And it was all about, how can we help our seniors have housing, whether it's rentals or it's purchasing something. If the senior doesn't have a family, or if they do have a family, like it was going through all these different scenarios because there's a shortage of housing for seniors.
Do we have a question from someone online?
No, your dad called me.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so so some of the emotions that you may be feeling is, the sentimental attachments to the things that are in your home, just the feel of overwhelm and the anxiety about change. Those are things that are real feelings, and we help you through that process. And you don't have to feel nervous about calling us to come out and have a consultation with you, because maybe our advice is you don't have to sell. I know that there was a couple that was referred to us from a past client in Marshfield, and that was my advice, was don't feel the overwhelm of how do I get rid of all this stuff, because I feel like you could stay and make your front to back living room your primary bedroom, so you don't have to worry about all the stairs. So just aging in place, which is exactly what Dick and Jane, because we're going to call her Jane, and Jane are doing, and that's what Mark and I are doing. We're just aging in place. So what about like preparing for the move? I think that's part of the overwhelm that people will feel as well. What do you think some of their thoughts are, like why they're just so overwhelmed by it?
Well, if somebody's been living in their home for 30 plus years, they've accumulated a lot of things, and some of it may not even be theirs. And I'm thinking of your house in particular. Your girls, they have a lot of their things. They live in apartments right now. They don't have a lot of space, so they're like, oh, mom and dad have a basement. But you know what? You are aging in place, and you are accommodating your home to what you want your comfort level to be right now and in the future. And it doesn't really have all your girls school books in the, because I know that you have like totes of school books in the basement.
Actually, want to do that project with me? It's such a waste that all these like law books and everything are down in the basement.
And then you have to come into Mary's basement and go through mine, because I have them too.
I'll do that too. We can do that. We'll just start an Amazon page where we can sell some books. But I want to sell them like reasonable. Like, you know what I mean? Because books are so expensive.
Yeah. Listen, when I was in college, and I was paying $400 for a book, and then they either at the end of the semester wouldn't take it back because they weren't going to use the same book.
Because they changed a sentence.
Yeah, they changed a sentence, or they'd offer me $5, and I'm like, whatever, I'll just keep the book. Why? It's been in a box for every single place I've ever lived ever since. But I feel like I stuck it to them. I said, I'm not taking your $5.
But this is a very good point when we get to the emotional aspect of things, right? You're not looking at that chemistry book as a chemistry book. You're looking at that as your $300 of hard-earned cash that you made because you were waitressing.
Yeah,
right.
I know.
Yeah,
and
so we have emotional attachments.
I worked
to our
hard
things.
for those books, and they wouldn't even give me anything.
You know what? I'm going to tell you, I worked hard for my girls' books. I have literally totes and totes and totes of them. So that's what I want to do. I actually want to start we are so off track today, but thank you for listening to our WATD listeners. If you have any questions for us to get us back on track, 781-837-4900. We would love to hear from you. One thing I do want to, now that we have that doorbell reminding me, Saturday, May 6th, I just want to repeat this every time I'm on the show, Saturday, May 6th, we are going to be talking about the public safety building that is being proposed in Pembroke. So we are hoping that we can get a lot of Pembroke listeners to go to the meeting, which is the town meeting is May 9th, which is Tuesday, May 9th, because we could really use your support to help our firefighters and police officers get a new facility, a public safety building that they're proposing here in Pembroke. So we're going to have Chief McDonald and Chief from the police department and Chief Viveros. Viveros from the fire department on with us. I also want to try to get Tim Cruz on with us and
my buddy Tim
and McDonald, who's a member.
Joe McDonald.
Joe McDonald. I'd love to get him on. He showed up at the library. So Joe and Tim, or any of your people,
if you listen to us,
if you're listening to us, we'd love to have you on that show Saturday, May 6th. I do want to reach out to them. I think we have their information.
And I'm ready for my tour.
I'm ready for the tour.
I'm ready for the tour.
I know. I saw him over at the library, and I was like, I don't think he remembers me, but you were on my show, and you promised me and Melissa a tour of the prison.
Yeah.
So we're going to hold them
losers.
to it. So again, that show is May 6th. So please listen and please help support our local firefighters and first responders.
Yeah, it was great to have them on, the Chiefs on the show on Tuesday. They were so nice.
They really are.
Yeah, and they're just they're so passionate about the importance of it because they live it every day.
It's absolutely amazing. And then, you go on to Facebook and you see people saying they don't really need it, but they really do. But you can go on to PAC TV and follow the meetings and see some of the slideshows and the presentations. And right now, on the fire department and the police department, I'll put it up on Pembroke Connect 2, is a nice video that PAC TV put together for us.
My mom would also like everyone to know that I have a box of books at her house. That is school books.
Liz, that's priceless.
Yeah.
So I feel like every child has a box of books at their parents' house. Okay, so preparing for the move, I think this is what we're talking about. It's all the decluttering and trying to get everything out.
Yeah.
Sometimes people just have stuff. And maybe you're not thinking about moving now, but if you are a senior and you feel like you want to age in place, I'm going to say leave a legacy, not a burden. Because to end up with all that stuff to go through, make it easier on your family, And it doesn't have to be anything major. You could, every weekend, maybe do one box or one area, one room, and just sort of get things sort of cleaned out and cleared out. Don't throw anything away until you let your family members see if they want it, though.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I know I have a ton of things that I need to go through. And my first thought was, I'll just move it all into my house and then I'll go through it. I've been lugging this stuff around since I was 15. I don't need, I need to go through it. I need to stop moving it from place to place. And, I'd rather just move into my house with nothing because I know I don't need any of that stuff anymore than to move into it with things that I've been lugging around for 17 years that
I don't know how my house, we have it seems like I have a dumpster every single year at my house. We're always, it seems like we're purging. But, I find Mackenzie does that. It seems like she moves every 6 months and she brings stuff from one house to one apartment to the next apartment to the next apartment. And now there's just stuff over at the two family that's just there. So, anyways, Do you have any other things that you need to discuss? But I want to tell you, though, if you are a senior and if you're part of the Council on Aging, or if you want to go, I know that the Chiefs are going to be over there as well. I believe it is April 26th that the Chiefs will be over at the Council on Aging, as well as like with the Dell Men's Club. So giving a presentation. So if you are interested in that, if you have family members that live in Pembroke, feel free to go there. So,
yeah. Do you have any other thoughts? We have 2 new listings for Boston Connect Real Estate. So,
and you can tell them and tell everyone where Mary is.
Oh, yes. Mary, I don't know where Mary is.
Kristen
Howlett.
Yeah.
Kristen Howlett is at Cochise Estates. It's in West Bridgewater, a new development that Sharon and Mary's team have. They have single families and duplexes, and they do an open house there every single Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 2, and an open house every Wednesday from 5 to 7. Kristen Howlett, who is a full-time realtor at Boston Connect Real Estate, is covering the open house today. Oh, there's your phone. It was missing. But Sharon designed a beautiful new website, livecochiseestates.com. Again, livecochiseestates.com. So go on there. You can see all of the floor plans, all of the great pictures that we have on there, all the information. So please go
site
to
plans,
site plans, everything. So, and I think there might be a little bit of a spring incentive. So message them directly, message them, and you can follow them on McNamara Broker Team on Facebook and Instagram. But we do have 2 new listings here at Boston Connect Real Estate. The first one is 12 Copper Beach Circle in West Bridgewater. That is listed by Marianne Trask. And gorgeous. Marianne.
Every time I see her, I go, Marianne. I don't know why, but that's...
Yeah, and she has a beautiful granddaughter, Nora, that she brings in. So every time I see Marianne, I go, hi, Marianne, where's Nora?
And you know what? It seems weird. I doubt that she's listening right now, so I'll just say it out loud. Like I was saying to Kristen, I think last week, I was like, I think Marianne is just so pretty. Doesn't she has isn't
gorgeous.
She so
her
gorgeous?
And her husband, just beautiful couple.
I know. She's so beautiful.
They're
anyways, go visit her if you want to see how beautiful she is.
Darn, I don't have the time because she put it in afterwards. Because she was just going to do a point-by-appointment only. But, so Google that one. Go to bostonconnect.com. It's on there. Or you'll look for it. But, again, it's 12 Copper Beach Circle in West Bridgewater. It's on for $875. It is gorgeous. Gorgeous. So go to Boston Connect Real Estate on social media or bostonconnect.com, and you can find all of the information about that one. We have another listing. This one is listed by Jess Page. It is 285 Twin Lakes Drive in Halifax. It's Unit 285. It's an end unit. It is so adorable. So if you're looking for condo living, this is perfect for you. She's doing an open house today from 11 to 1. So be sure to stop by. Again, that one is at 285 Twin Lakes Drive in Halifax. The development is Twin Lakes, right?
Yeah, Twin Lakes. Are you going to go look at that?
I am not going to go look at that.
Okay.
But it is beautiful. I mean, I feel like if I went there, I would fall in love with it. But that one is on the market for $339,900. And here you go. Open house today for 12 Copper Beach Circle in West Bridgewater. It is from 11 to 3 today.
Perfect. So Marianne will be there, and I think she has maybe somebody else is helping her. So
if you
I
go
know
to
Kristen.
West Bridgewater, I know Kristen. Yeah, Kristen was helping her last night. She did a commuter open house last night there.
Perfect. How did that go?
I was looking at the lives. I was working last night, but I was looking at the lives every once in a while, and it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. We've gotten a lot of great responses on social media with that one. So. Again, go to bostonconnect.com for any of the open house information.
And if you're around the town today, or if you want to take a little special ride, as we have every Saturday morning from about 10 to 12 o'clock, Ginny Wandell is a full-time real estate agent here at Boston Connect Real Estate. She's basically been with us since the beginning when we opened, and I was actually helping her find a place at one point as a buyer's agent for like a second home. So she's a good friend, and she's a wonderful real estate agent with a lot of experience, and she's here at the office, 19 Mattakeesett Street, every Saturday from 10 10 to 12, and you can come in and just have some coffee with Ginny and talk about maybe selling your house, maybe talk about buying a house, maybe talk about how do I do both. She can help you through that whole process. So,
or if you want to hang out on our porch. I was hanging out on the porch for a little while yesterday. I took some pictures, and
looks like that's exactly what Ginny was doing with two of our clients. Actually stopped by to say hello, and Ginny was out there on the porch with them. So you can reach us at bostonconnect.com for our past shows. You can go to talkrealestateroundtable.com, or you can just say, Alexa, play Talk Real Estate Roundtable, and you will listen to our past shows. And you can find us on Instagram, and you can find us on Facebook. And hey, just give us a ring, 781-826-8000. Bye, Tim. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
WATD FM Marshfield, WBMS Brockton.